Hello YouTube. Today we're going to be discussing both Path of Exile 1 and Path of Exile 2. GGG had their new expansion reveal for Path of Exile 1 a few hours ago, and honestly, it's looking pretty good. I was expecting them to do something big, and it looks like they have. So I'm not going to be going through the patch notes for both games one by one. I think that would take way too long, and by this time I'm sure the bigger content creators have already done this and already read through everything meticulously and already told you what's good and what's bad about it. I'm going to be discussing more about what interests me, what my plans are for both games, and in general, just have a discussion about the game because I am passionate about Path of Exile 1 and I enjoy talking about it a lot. And I also like reading what you guys have to say about it as well. It's always a blast for me. So, without further ado, let's get into the patch notes for Path of Exile 1 3.26. The Secrets of the Atlas expansion, basically an endgame expansion, 3 new pinnacle bosses. We get a better memory system on top of Sentinel-like mechanics, which honestly sounds pretty fun. I always disliked playing memories because it felt like just a chore just to get all the essences you wanted or try to get enough shards for Orb of Fracturings. And it's good that we're going to be able to modify the maps here. We're going to be able to juice maps accordingly. And it's going to be more prominent, and we're going to be running many of those. It looks like it's fun for me. Just to let you all know, I generally don't like building my character before, and I play hardcore SSF. I generally like building my character as I go along. So I'll pick my class and I'll pick my skill, and then as I go through the campaign, I'll try and get into my main skill as soon as possible because I like that journey. I like seeing that skill get stronger and stronger as we go on, rather than using a league starter and then switching on to something that I like in the end game or starting a new character. So that's what I'll be doing here. So I'm not sure how far I'll be able to get and if I'll be able to see these 3 new pinnacle bosses on my hardcore assistive character. But I may, depending on how things go, I may start a softcore character and just beeline to the end game as soon as possible, just to see what mechanics and systems are there. But yeah, endgame expansion, new pinnacle bosses. It's been something that the community has been asking for a long time, and I'm glad that people are finally getting it. I've never been a big bosser myself. I generally like farming and trying to drop and craft better items and try to run more juiced up maps. I'm more of a mapping guy. Um, Contrary to a lot of people, I enjoy T17s. I enjoy really juiced up T16s. If I can run them without any problems and if I can kill those map bosses, for me, that's pinnacle content for me. But, you know, with such a big update, I will be looking into it, even though I'm not normally a bossing kind of guy. But yeah, the Secrets of the Atlas, Sentinel mechanics on top of memory, looks interesting. We'll see how that shapes up with my hardcore SSF run. Now, the Mercenaries, this league mechanic, it's very reminiscent of the Diablo 2 mercenary system. And for all the years I played Diablo 2, I never enjoyed having mercenaries. I generally played without mercenaries. I never liked it. In general, I don't like, me personally, for me, I don't like playing summon builds. I don't like playing minion builds. I like doing my own damage, even if it's just a summon giving us, if we're keeping a summon up just to give us an aura or some stat buffs. I generally don't like it. It's just from a power fantasy standpoint. So for me, I foresee myself possibly just trying to take their items. I mean, it's an opportunity to loot them, and that's always fun. That's why I play the game. I play the game for loot, so we'll see. But maybe they are fun, and maybe they'll offer a depth to the game that I can't foresee at this point. So, I mean, I will probably try a couple. But knowing myself, knowing the way I approach these things, I'll probably end up just killing them if I can for their items. And, well, hopefully I actually make a build that's good enough to kill them. We'll see. We'll see. I'm I'm hopeful, but I can't guarantee anything. Um, but yeah, overall, more loot. It's an interesting league mechanic, I'm sure. I know a lot of people love the mercenary mechanic in Diablo 2, and basically you get to dress up Barbie your own summon, and you get to give him the items you want and whatnot. I see the fun there. Not for me, but mostly good for the game overall. Now this is what I'm looking forward to. I generally like, even though I'm not great at crafting, I enjoy finding items or crafting items and making them better as things go on, or just being able to get those big performance and damage leaps, those power leaps you get as you craft, and you get better and more in-depth alternatives to what you want to do. And this provides a lot of alternatives to a game that already has a lot of crafting options. Now, in general, I actually like Path of Exile 2's combat a lot more than Path of Exile 1. I enjoy the positioning and the way combat works. However, Path of Exile 1, where it really excels at, the Path of Exile 2 is still months, possibly years away, is the depth of crafting, the crafting alternatives. I'm sure we all agree on this. Path of Exile 2's crafting is very lackluster at the moment, and they clearly need more content in leagues for it to get to a satisfactory level. So for me, my main purpose for playing Path of Exile 1 will always be to craft and mess around with items, and it's just good to see that they're offering so many new ways to try and make your items even better. Like, I really like the memory strand system. It reminds me of the Last Epoch system. I forget what it's called, but you have a crafting limit on every item. Basically, I think it's called a forge potential, and it basically every item has a forge potential at a certain number, and you can craft that item as much as the forge potential lets you. This seems similar, where you'll be rolling for affixes and then trying to modify those affixes, maybe add more tiers and whatnot, while using these memory strands, which are the forging potential in this game. I'm looking forward to messing around with this. I hope it's available, although I did see in the Q&A that they said this will be more accessible starting from level 3 maps, so hopefully I'll get to mess around with it a little bit. And if I do actually make a character that's good enough to go all the way to T16s, then great. I can foresee myself having a lot of fun here. But yeah, this is what appeals to me the most. Well, one of the things that appeals to me the most. A, it's trying to get good items and craft good items to try and kit your character and make it more powerful. And B, I actually like the character build crafting. I don't, like I mentioned before, I don't like mapping my character out in path of building beforehand. I just like playing my character as we go on through the campaign and into the end game. It's very fun to me, and this new season will allow me to do both of those things. So I'm kind of excited for that. The end game changes, general quality of life and extra addition. The fact that you're not going to lose XP in softcore for dying on certain boss fights, that would have been great when I played softcore a few years ago. Unfortunately, I'm already red-pilled on hardcore SSF, and I cannot go back. But it's good. It's a good addition for everyone. Everything else here seems fine. Everything else is all right. There's no really point going through them one by one. We'll see as we go through. I also don't like spoiling myself too much. We'll see what happens. It is interesting that all of the map bosses we need for the Pantheon will be shifted. I think they've been the same for several leagues now, as far as I can remember. So this will be fun. And I haven't even looked through all of the new added maps. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure there'll be a couple of maps that I hate. I know I'm going to end up hating going through the unique maps again. It's the thing I hate the most about the Path of Exile 1 endgame, but it's the bits you don't look forward to, the bits that are boring to you, that make the bits that are fun more fun. So, we'll look to get through those as soon as possible. Atlas passive tree changes, sure, this is all fine. We'll see. You can mess with the memory threads items that you drop with memory threads. That'll be fun. Like I said, if we get that far, I'll be very interested to see what I can cook up in terms of items. So we'll see. Settlers being added to the core game. I see a lot of people upset about this because apparently it causes FOMO in people, which I find to be kind of old now at this point. I mean, FOMO was always a complaint in the game, but ever since Affliction. It's been the number one thing that people keep complaining about. And it's like, FOMO doesn't make sense for you because there are always going to be, for every single one of you that play this game, including me, who I have a lot of time to play this game. There's always going to be people who play a lot more than me, a lot more than you, and there's going to be hundreds and thousands of people who will just get more stuff than you. And, just be okay with that. It'll make your own achievements more impressive when you do eventually get the thing that you want. I understand the concept of not wanting to be left behind in the market in terms of currency, but the market always adjusts. When things get too inflated, that also means that the lower tier farming strats get more profitable as well. So, you can just that's been the thing that I liked most about Path of Exile 1. When things start to get unprofitable for you, you just change your tactics and you find something better, and then you do that for a few days until that becomes mainstream, and then you change over, and then you switch over. You do essences for a while, and then you do other stuff for a while. For softcore trade people, just find new strategies. For us in SSF, honestly, the Settlers stuff was already great, and I'm glad to see that we still have all of the help that we'll be getting from the Settlers mechanics. So, for me, it's a win-win. I'm glad about all of this. I'm interested and intrigued that the Recombinator will have both the Path of Exile 2 system and the Path of Exile 1 system. It's been a while since I played Path of Exile 1 properly, but I do remember having a lot of items, so I think I will be trying Path of Exile, the new Recom system, a few times, even if I end up losing some items. It'll be more interesting to me. And, hang on. We've got a little guest here. Let me introduce you, in case you guys don't know. This is Pseudo. And she occasionally likes to walk by and check and make sure that I'm okay. I'm sure she'll say hello in a little bit when she gets tired of sitting in my lap. But for now, we'll read together with her. Actually, we can't read together with her because my hand is now occupied and I can't move the mouse. So that'll be fun. Oh, she wants to go anyway. Alright, bye. The Betrayal rework, great. I hated having to build the board over and over again every single time. I'm glad that we can just shape the board how we want and keep farming it over and over. That's great. I also like that we have both Veiled Orbs, both the Chaos Veiled Orb and the Exalted Veiled Orb. It's great. It was always fun. And I also like that all of the affixes that we get from Betrayal will now just be picked up from maps, so we don't have to drop every single one of those affixes and then try to identify them to open them. It just makes everything so much better. Generally, the quality of life in this patch is enough to make the game more appealing to me anyway, and all the extra added things. Oh, now she's just being sweet. And all the extra added things are just a bonus for me. So this is great fun. Now, when we get to the skill gem changes, from what I've seen, other than Archmage received a little bit of a nerf, but in general it looks like spells, especially with the Elementalist changes, it looks like Elemental spells are on the menu, and I don't want to play spellcasters in this build. I really like melee. I enjoy playing melee a lot, and I'll probably be playing melee a lot in this patch. And what I'm looking forward to the most, as I'm sure many of you will be, is Cyclone. Cyclone was always intriguing to me, but it always felt bad, even with the melee buffs that we got in Settlers. The fact that now Cyclone is doing significantly more damage, like all the numbers are just better, and with both Cyclone of Tumult and regular Cyclone. So I'm glad that we have those buffs. I always wanted to try it out, and I'll be definitely trying a character out with this, and I'll probably be playing Champion, because I've never played Champion before. Never got around to it. So I'll be playing a Champion. Champion got buffed as well, by the way. We're going to be having a lot of fortified charges on top of general survivability, which is great for hardcore. And yeah, so my initial character will definitely be Cyclone Champion. I also really want to try Blade Flurry. I know it's a channeling melee skill, which makes it kind of weird, and I generally don't like channeling spells in Path of Exile, However, I am willing to try. I mean, Cyclone is a channeling skill as well, and also they've added and buffed the channeling support gems, so it should be more viable. Both the one that gives you more survivability and this new one that they've added. They'll mention it in the bottom. So these are the two main builds I'm looking forward to, and other than that, we'll see. We'll see. We'll probably go back to one of my old favorites, which is like Dual Strike. I enjoy playing double dagger builds, so we'll be looking at those alternatives. But yeah, we'll see as the patch goes on, as our characters level up. Depending on what I feel like, we'll see. Vortex is also interesting. I might take a look at Vortex, but again, like I said, we'll see. But I do know that I'll be starting out with Champion Cyclone, so that's the first target I have. Support gem changes. Let's see, where was it? Infused channeling. Yeah, this infused channeling gives you more survivability. And I think the new gem was up here. I'm not sure. Basically, it gives you more damage the more you channel, which is fine. Yeah, it was somewhere up there, but it doesn't matter. So that's that. Ascendancy changes. As I said, Champion will be playing Champion. I like the Fortitude buffs. Guardian looks interesting. I don't think I will be playing it, but Guardian does look interesting, especially if you're going to play with summons, I guess. It's interesting to see that Trickster was nerfed and it still looks good, even after the nerf. I mean, Trickster was so powerful. So if I do end up going for a double claw or a double dagger build, I will probably try it on a Trickster. But we'll see. Maybe even Blade Flurry will be on a Trickster. We'll see how that goes, though. Elementalist looks great. For those of you who like playing Elementalist, to those of you who like casting spells, looks great. These, whatever, we'll see when we get there. Unique item changes. Again, I don't like going through these one by one. We'll see in game if they drop, if they're relevant. I like, in general, all the quality of life and item changes. When I read through these earlier, they all looked fine. Um, they all looked... The fact that resistance modifier can no longer roll or be craft known weapons is actually a huge buff. This is actually great for crafting. Now we can actually... We have less garbage to go through, which, that's great. And that's pretty much it, I think. Everything getting all the Kurak League mods, mostly, not all of them, but most of them getting a discount. A welcome change for map juicing. Focus channeling support. I think this is the new one. And yeah, all the quality of life user interface changes, amazing. Every single one of them. I was surprised that some of them took so long to be implemented, but here we are. And especially having our regexes up to 250 characters, that's amazing. It was always a nightmare trying to roll and filter out what maps you wanted to run, so that's all good. And yeah, that's that. Now moving on to the Path of Exile 2 patch notes. Overall, I like what they've done here. I've been looking forward to this patch for a couple of weeks now, and overall, I'm excited about the new uniques that we're getting. Hopefully for the end game, having more chase uniques. Obviously, it's one of the better additions they've done in a while. And as we've seen lower down this list, a lot of the more regular, more common uniques have been buffed and changed, as we can see here. So it'll be fun to drop and see what these items do for our builds, if I manage to drop any. But from what I've seen, some of the unique drop calculations have been buffed, so we should be getting more uniques, more better uniques dropping in the campaign as well. So I'm looking forward to that. It's always fun, even if it's trash. It's fun seeing uniques drop. It's fun trying to think of how they might change your build. And honestly, because I die a lot in the campaign in Path of Exile 2, and I have to start over again, I enjoy the lower tier uniques a lot. Especially when they help you out through the first couple of acts, they allow you to get through it much quicker. I've always liked it. So, for me, it's just more value, I guess. I really like that the tiers are finally changed. Now, tier 1 being the best, tier 8 or 7 or whatever being the worst. It makes sense. It was always better that way. I know people are saying it's confusing with the unidentified tier drop, but it's not that confusing really. It's just reversed. So, tier 1 not being the best there, it's easy to calculate. It just means the lowest one tier's gone. It's not that complicated. I'm sure we'll get used to it. But overall, a good change. The refund all passives, I wasn't aware that they were doing this. I've never had to refund everything, but it's good. All quality of life, everything that makes us click less is good news. And I especially like this as well. Improving the search functionality on mouse and keyboard. Even having the camera actually pan to the nodes you want as you press enter. That's something that I've been wanting for a long time, and I hope they add it to Path of Exile 1. They may have added to Path of Exile 1, I haven't checked, but I think they would have made a big deal about it if they had. This is huge, because sometimes you don't really see the highlight, so anything that makes anything in the game more clear and clarifies what we're looking for is a welcome opportunity. And speaking of clarity, what I really enjoy is the volatile plants nerf. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, this is just making the game easier. It's not. In the terms of volatile plants, it was a nightmare, especially in some of the zones with the lighting. It would be really hard to see the orbs, especially if there are a lot of walls and maze-like areas. Like the Forge, I believe, the last time I died in the Forge, I didn't even see two of the orbs come towards me. And as I was trying to find out where they were going to come from, I ended up dying immediately. So this is a welcome change. Overall, I believe, yes, improve the visual effects of Chaos Volatiles. They need to improve the visuals as well. And the fact that it's now 2 instead of 3, and the fact that they'll disperse when we kill the mob that spawned them. It's a huge relief. One of the most frustrating things would be to fight one of those volatile plant mobs, and kill the monster, and then have to run around the plants, and they take so long to despawn. It just added so many gaps in your rhythm, and it's just a welcome change. Everything here makes me happy. Everything here makes me want to jump into it immediately, and I will be doing that later today. I am a little tired. I've been up all night, and so it'll be fun trying out a new character with the new changes. I'm looking forward. I mean, the new endgame runes and the talismans, these are all great. We'll see if I can actually get to the endgame. Hopefully, with the new adjustments, it should be fine. It's a little disappointing not seeing many skill changes. But I guess they mentioned they don't want to mess around with the skills too much because people overreact to them, so it is what it is. But it would have been nice to see some reworks, at least for us to be able to test it, especially now that Path of Exile 1's coming out and the majority of the fan base will be playing that. Allow us to test some of the possible changes with Path of Exile 2. Even though people are going to complain, they have a distraction now. Like, some of the long-awaited changes to... They have to try things out, right? They have to try some of the changes. We've been talking about mace changes for a while, armor changes. Let us test those. Let us see what works and what doesn't work so we get a better idea before the next big patch for Path of Exile 2. Just in case anybody ends up watching this from GGG. I think it's fine now that you've got a rhythm going. And, oh yeah, one of the best bits of news that aren't covered in any of the patch notes that Jonathan mentioned a few times. One of the best things that I've seen from both of these patches is the way that GGG have restructured the way they deal with their project management, the way they're going to deal with deadlines and what makes it into the patches, what doesn't. Basically load management, being able to avoid scope creep and having to delay these updates. It was a topic that was discussed by many larger and smaller channels about how handling 2 games would mean they need to change the way they approach things, and it looks like they have. And honestly, it's one of the best bits of information, best bits of news we've gotten from them, and I hope it works out for them. As someone who's worked in an office for many years, I know what bad project management leads to. I know how frustrating it can be, and I hope that it's good news for all of us, basically. We've got some bug fixes, you know, some quality of life stuff. That's all fine. Overall, great. Would have liked to see some skills, some skill buffs, some skill changes, but oh well. Maybe we will get it in a month or so. I'm looking forward to August when we get news about the next Path of Exile 2 major patch. That should be very fun. But until then, this patch should keep me entertained for a couple of days. I'll be playing Anvil Empires on Monday and a whole bunch of the Steam Next Fest demos. I'm looking forward to that a lot. So there'll be plenty of Path of Exile 2 and demo showcases. If there's anything that really stands out to me, I'll make videos about them as well and share them on the channel. And then Path of Exile 1 next week. That should be fun. I'm hoping that it'll keep me busy for a week or two, depending on how fast we go. So exciting times ahead. On top of that, actually the timing works really well, because after that we get the new Mountain Blade expansion, which I'm really looking forward to, on the 20th, I believe. So that'll be fun. Surprisingly, June and July seem kind of eventful, which is a welcome change from the game drought we used to get for the many years before. But anyway, enough rambling. Thank you for watching this video. I'm looking forward to what you're excited for in the comments. Like I said, I always enjoy reading your comments. Any criticisms about the way I approach my videos, always happy to read them. But yeah, until the next video, I'll see you guys later.